right, mic check 1 2, mic check 1 2, and we're live in 3 2 1. Let's go, let's get it. All right, so why do I have a I don't like that. Feels like I have a delay in my microphone, but let's get it over with. Why do I sound like that? Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and do this weekly review real fast. It's now that was the end of week 5 yesterday. Had a decent week here. Those are the results. That was Monday, the first entry right there. We made a profit of 425. And then Tuesday 361, on Wednesday 213, then on Friday took a loss there, 174. I think I did 2 sessions on this day. The morning I didn't get anything, then came the afternoon to try to find a trade, and was a loser. And then yesterday got that trade, so it was a decent $1,000 win. But after fees and commissions, a little over $1,000, a little over $900. So a decent week right there. I'm happy with that week. The account now stands at 51k. We've seen a high of 51.86. So pretty much with yesterday's trade, I just wanted to go back to 51, but just have that 1,000 there. And I thought that was good to close the week. Anyway, let's go through the trades real quick. I have a delay in my system. All right, so that's the trades. Took 2 contracts on Monday, 2 contracts on Tuesday. With the risk is pretty much the same, but the distance of the stop loss kind of dictates the number of contracts to take. So as you can see, 53 points stop loss does allow for 2. This is gold, so the points involved are a little bit smaller. And then on NQ, stop loss points are just 15, so I was able to take 6 contracts. And then here we got these big fellas. MNQ 77 points. So yeah, anything above 50 points, I just go back down to one micro for now. So let's go through the first trade here. That's how it looked like. So this was based on this 15-minute inverted fair value gap, and then I was like, yeah, I think there could be some momentum to go upside, but we'll go look at the charts real quick and we can have some more closure on that. This is what happened after. So I only took a piece of the meat on this huge bone, and I was like, yo, I'm good. And the trade kept on going up. Let's go. The second trade was on gold. That's how it looked like. This one I should have loaded, but I was a bit skeptical, and I was like, yeah, let me just take something that I risk. If I lose, I'll be fine, which it should be like that all the time anyway. But I think at this point I decided to take a much bigger risk, but then I was like, nah, and at the end of the day it kind of worked. I like it when I enter for price to just go my way. That is kind of how this system is designed, to just see a trade like this. Like right here, just enter a little bit of a retracement if there needs to be, and then just shoot up, but it's not gonna be perfect all the time. And just held and just shot up and hit my TP. NQ had a nice ride that day. It just went straight, but there was no retracement, so I was not able to engage. This is what happened the rest of the session. Pretty much got to that high right there and it tanked, bro. So that's why I just like my 1:2. Well, it keeps going as far as it wants to. But you know, plus I'm also watching these levels, like this buy side right here, that high, and when we get to those levels, if I don't want to get out, then I want to break even. Okay, let's go to the third day here, the 11th. Just look at that setup. This is the kind of setups I like to see, man, where it just go in and it goes my way. But I think I came into the charts a little bit late, so, or rather I was doing analysis and then hopped onto the 1 minute, and that setup had already formed, making a decision to go in. So that candle right there was supposed to be the entry candle, but I did enter on the next one as it had already started. My stop loss should have been above this EMA, but it was kind of too straight for me, so I thought, you know, let me put the stop loss above the high. So if I had it above the 100, it would have hit my 1:2 fairly quick, but having it over there, I'm out of music. I think the most it did was like 1.7, and I think this is the day that I got to over 1,000. So I was like, yeah, let me just close. And it's a good thing I closed because I think it did reverse after that. Where's that trade? Right here. You can see it reversed. So that would have taken me out on break even or maybe hit my loss. So this is Thursday. Why did I take this trade? Oh yeah, this was a good trade that I don't want to say I moved my stops too fast, but what made me move this stop was as we had traveled since my entry, we went like 100 points. So I was like, yeah, I think that's too far. And then we had this 4-hour fair value gap here, which I thought would act as support, and there was a probability that price would, you know, keep going up. So once we got those levels, I did break even and a little bit plus some fees and commissions. That's why you see there made like $8. And look what happened, it just shot back up like this, bro. So glad it came out, but this is what happened after it just turned around and would have gone and hit my level. So this is the second time I'm moving my stop loss and it's been taken out. That's a different trade right there. Or I think maybe move my stop loss down some more. But yep, I was taken out right there with some fees and commissions. So maybe in future just submit and leave it alone, because now this is the second trade that I've missed because of moving the stops too soon. I don't regret that decision, but it's all good. That's what I felt at that moment to do. And then so that was the AM session. So I was like, yo, I'm break even, then let me come in the afternoon and try. I felt like this was a decent trade, but then again, look how well I took that trade at that 4-hour fair value gap, which was, you know, offering support. And you know, something sad happened though. Price retrace took me out and then immediately went my way. So it's all good. it is all good, no worries. Price will do such things. And then the last trading day yesterday, or last trading day of the week, that was a Nasdaq trade. A pretty nice trade, honestly. A plus setup. This was the 15-minute. I think that's an order block. We'll look at it in more depth when we go to the charts, but pretty much this is what I look for. That was my little 8 a.m. kind of prediction. 8 a.m. PDT or PST, whatever. And the break of that trend line right there was my entry. My stop loss at the black EMA right there, which is right there, which is 100. And of course, going for 1:2. And then we had this 15-minute, whatever, that's sell side right there. So I was like, yo, when we just get close to it, I'd start trailing my stop loss with every 1-minute candle. So price came and took me out. So I was happy with that because I'm now back to $1,000 profit. And again, maybe moving my stops too soon. Now this is the third time probably, and price just, dips. Takes a lot of time. I wasn't comfortable with this, especially now that we were going to 9 a.m., which is a pattern I've seen. When the morning is kind of trending like this, when it gets to around 9 a.m. PST, it will tend to retrace back. And even if it will keep going down, there's usually gonna be some sort of harsh retracement around that 9 a.m. So it's like, yo, I wanna be out of this trade at 9 a.m. But price will always remind you that you don't know what I will do next. And it just keeps playing around, and then it just dips. So probably I would have made a little bit more, but it never made it to the 1:2 RR. But if I held on a little bit, I would have maybe closed in some profit. So if I was really high in profits, not worrying about that 1,000 profit mark, then I could have just put my stop on break even and then just let it do whatever it's gonna do. But I thought it was best to just save something. But anyway, right now we're just doing those little small micros. For example, I only took one contract, so if I had at least 2 running contracts, then I'd have closed one contract at that sell side level, and then break even the other one contract, and then just leave around. So if it takes me out, I paid myself for the day. So let's go to the charts and look at those trades a little bit deeper. So let's go do Monday. And let's look at them nicely. We can just do this. I don't need both sides, and we can start from the daily. Actually, what am I doing? Okay, let's just hit replay here to the end of the session. Let's look at the daily real quick. And that was the 15th, right? Yeah. So I start the session by looking at the previous day. So, and I like to kind of, see where we are with respect to the previous day high and the low and the half point, and then move down to the 4-hour just to see if there's anything that I need to be worried about. So in this case, there's this 4-hour volume imbalance here. And on this day, I thought to also mark that daily open. So on the 1 hour, we did have that gap over there. Now this day was already printed, right? But when I'm trading, I think we are here, like this is the candle I'm usually, looking at. So all these levels, we still haven't touched them, but so I'm thinking if I see like a fair value gap or some high that I feel like price is going there. Also looking at the half levels and the lows and the highs of the previous day, then it kind of helps me to build up the bias. And then of course go to the 30-minute, and I'm looking for breakers, and in this day I couldn't see any, so I thought to just anchor the trade on something else. In this case I found and actually we did have a breaker here, not really, yes we do, that up candle we went down, so I'll probably have to wait for a closure above the high, and seems like I will not have called in a trade. So in this case I decided to anchor on this fair value gap right here. So this was supposed to be resistance for price to keep going down, but it goes on and closes above, so I'm looking for that area to be used as support, right? And then pretty much go to the 1 minute, and of course use my friends here. No big deal, there's just the 100, 50, 16 and the 5 EMAs. Kind of look for your own combinations and work with what is good for you. So yeah, I was like, yo, at the break of that trend line, I'm going in. Some of the changes I've made is I don't have to wait for the EMAs to line up and then for another retest. Because I was like, yo, when the blue goes below the 50, the purple, I have to wait for another alignment and then wait for another retracement for me to go in. So in this case, if I did that, I would have missed that trade. So I'm like, yo, at least if I see a touch of a zone, high time frame zone, a break of a trend line, and the EMAs are lined up, and that was a beautiful trade right there. Just a little bit of a retracement and then they shot up. So you can see the drawdown was only 36% of the full loss. And 1 to 3 minutes, boom, that trade was done. So 3 minutes. All right, let's go to the other day real quick. Are we gonna do this up to? All right, so let's go to Tuesday, down to the 15-minute, and I have to go to the daily and move over with 1 day again. Let's go start on the daily time frame. Seems like we had a little bit okay, so again the previous day levels, which was this day, the previous day high, previous day low. I thought if we want to keep coming lower to mark that previous day week EQ level right there. Looking at the 4-hour, what did I see on this day? Nothing's marked on the 4-hour, so probably didn't see nothing there of importance to me. But then we have this 1 hour, the value gap right there, and an embedded one in here. So I'm like, yo, and then on the let's go to the 30-minute real quick. On the 15-minute, on the 30-minute, there was this candle right here. So I was gonna use this if we close below this zone here, where I was willing to take sales, but looks like we decided to go the other way. So this trade was anchored on, and I can't see it. Where is the trade, bro? Why did I take this trade? Tuesday was a win. Oh, I see why, because we didn't trade NQ. That's why it was so confusing. So let's go look for gold, and then let's look for Tuesday here. Like something is not mathing. Let me look what day Tuesday was. Tuesday was the 10th. So it should be one of these. 9, 10, right here. That was Tuesday's trade. Again, same thing. Price is fractal everywhere. I think I didn't mark so much on gold. So let's go to the 30-minute time frame, or rather the 1 hour. This was so clear, man. Look at that up candle, one shot to the downside, taking all this sell side. We didn't take out this one, which I'm thinking that's some unfinished business that they will want to come to deal with. But the moment we closed above the up candle, that became a breaker to me, and I marked it, and you can look what happened. The whatever, it was used as support, and then we just shoot up once. So I'm thinking that, yo, I think we're kind of bullish, and this is, I think, yeah, I was like, yeah, I think we're still bullish. And then going down to the 30-minute, really couldn't see anything clear, but on the 15-minute, there was this series of up candles, and I think it was there on the 30-minute, kind of looking like this, right? But to the 15-minute, I'm able to refine those zones. So price comes, touches that zone, that's a breaker to me. High, low, high, paired with a fair value gap, bro. That's good, honestly. Now if I was like going somewhere that day, or just want to be aggressive, my entry would have been at the high of that breaker, and then my stop loss just at the low. I know it looks out of insight, but this is something I've done before. I just don't trade like this right now, but this is something I'll do in a live account, honestly, or trying to pass these profams real quick. But now I've chosen this system. Okay, what just happened there? 15-minute. So just looking at that, of course, now going to the 1-minute time frame. Pull up the EMAs right here. So this is where price retraces to that 15-minute breaker, paired with the 15-minute fair value gap right there. So I'm waiting for my EMAs to line up. A retracement. So that is where they line up. A retracement back to the 50 and a break over trend line. I'm in, and that was my entry right there. And then with this system, I'm able to kind of have lower stop losses, so I don't have to put my stop loss way down here. So because of that, sometimes I'll get smoked, and then price will go my way, the other, whatever the way I had this, my bias was on, and that is just one of the downfalls of this system. Otherwise, I think it's, in the long run, it works. So we see price playing around here, and it just one time shoots up. So looking at Nasdaq on this day, it was kind of one-sided, but there was no retracement, so I was not able to get in, and ends up hitting my 1:2 right about there, or a little bit lower. No, this was just that was just potential, but 1:2 was right about up there, but for some reason I had it at 1.98, so kind of saved from this retracement here, because I don't like just it's just about to hit your TP and it doesn't touch it just by a tick or so, and then it starts retracing. I don't like that. So probably I'd have my stop loss at that blue. I'll be trailing the stop loss at that blue EMA. So I would have been out with 1.4, and that would have been perfectly fine. And that was the trade for the day on gold. So let's go back to NQ and look at Wednesday. Let's get rid of EMS, go back to the daily. So Wednesday is gonna be this day here. We don't have it printed, do we? Okay, so let's go to the daily and move forward with one day. There you go. So now we have Wednesday again. Let's start on the daily, and should be this guy. Beautiful. So look at the previous day, and I want to see where we are in terms of the previous day high and the previous day low and the EQ. In this case, we had weeks on both sides, so I did measure half of those weeks. So that would be from the close of that previous day to the high, and then the half point is the EQ, and the same, the open and the low and the half. So there was this volume imbalance here that I had in mind. I wanted to take a note of. And then going to the 4 hour again. You remember that 4 hour fair value gap? No, this was okay. I did note that 4 hour fair value gap. So in case we were going short, that'll be one of the targets I'd be looking for. So looking at the 1 hour, what do we have here? Nothing. 30-minute, what do we have marked? Didn't see anything of importance. And then on the 15 minutes, wait a minute, I'm looking at the wrong, should be looking at I'm looking at this end. We're looking at this the start of the session right there. 10:48. I need to be finished. I don't think I'm gonna be able to do the backtest video today. My time is up. So we have those high time frame levels, the daily volume imbalance right there. So what did I see on this day? Wow. Okay. Looks like we got a trade around here. So the touch of that daily volume imbalance. So probably this should be like a break of structure, but we do take that sell side. So I think I was like, yo, I think we are likely to keep going lower. And I think that's why I took that trade. I'm not seeing anything special on this day, but this trade was anchored on this. See how these wicks are touching each other. What do I say? I'm calling this PDRA. I don't know if it's a PDRA. That could be like a balanced price range, but I'm calling it, if you know, that's how I call it. And I thought, yo, I could use that as an anchor. So this is marked as 30, but I'm not seeing anything there. Oh yeah. Look at this low. Let me get rid of that. See that wick and that wick, they're not touching. So I was like, yo, that's a gap kind of that needs to be filled. And so we are closing below it. So I'm thinking, yo, it's being used as support to send price lower. And so that 30-minute gap or fair value gap or CB, BC, CB, and that, if you know, on the 15-minute, I was like, yeah, I think we should be able to get a trade here. So going down to the 1 minute, pull up my EMAs, and just like that, I wait for the EMAs to line up, break over trend line, I'm in. So in this one, as I mentioned earlier, it happened so fast because I was still doing reviews. I was not able to get on my charts really early. I was doing like a top down analysis. So when I go to the 1 minute, this had already happened. So making that decision real quick, aware that this was happening. So my entry should have been on this before the close of that one candle, right when it's closing. So I like to enter the trade when it's like 3-2, I mean, before the open of the next candle. So I just had to enter when this candle open, and you can see open, went up, on its way down is when I entered. So looking for 1:2. If my stop loss was right above the 100 where I typically have it, that 1:2 would have hit real quick. But then I was like, yeah, I think it's safer, you know, for this moment, just to have my stop loss up there. At this point, I'd hit over 1,000 profits, so the account was like over 51k. So I did consider to close, and I just closed it, and it's a good thing I closed, because this would have been a break even, or rather, worst case scenario, a stop loss. So we'll leave. So that never happened. Why did I take this? This was a good trade, and I think the rest. So because it was a break even, I decided to wait. No, that one I took profit. So this is another day here, because I'm tired, man. Let's look at Thursday, and then we'll get it done here. Okay, get rid of those EMAs. Go to the daily time frame. Then boom. Yep. Thursday. Oh, now we're going to Thursday. One day. Okay. So group 14. Okay. That's the previous day high, previous day low, and the half EQ. So I'm thinking, yo, what we gonna do here? 14 minute, 4 hours. Let's just go down to the 30 minute and just see where we look at this straight on. What was I seeing on this day? Previous day low, all these PD areas being reversed, or rather being inverted. And then there was a final section here that was like, yo, I think we should use it. This down candle here, these two series of down candles. So I said if we close below, I'm gonna start looking for shorts here. And then just above it, look at that. If you know, you know, those wicks are touching, but it's just wicks. So I like to see that a lot, especially towards the bias that I'm siding with, and then going back to the 1 minute, bring up the EMAs, and voila, everything just lines up nicely. Break over trend line. I'm in, maybe a little bit late. My entry should have been on this candle. Plays, gives me some hopes, and then comes, takes me out, and then immediately just goes my way. So there's really nothing I can do about this. It is what it is. No system is 100%, but I just don't see why that didn't work. So in my opinion, it was supposed to work. All right, let's go look at the last trade. So that was the second trade of the Thursday right there. That didn't work. So let's go look at Friday. We'll get rid of this EMS. Get rid of that day. And then go to the daily. Actually, I can just, you know, go to the daily and then pull up one day. So now we're looking at Friday, and then boom, that's Friday's shenanigans. So again, the previous day high, previous day low, previous day EQ. I use that to kind of see, yo, what the bias should be looking like. That's the 4-hour time frame. I marked that 4-hour fair value gap that we hit with a 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. 4-hour candle. And look at that rejection, and then the bias was bearish. So this was quite a day. The market was just pulling downwards, honestly. And all my PD arrays were just all the zones I was looking at were just getting past, and price is barely coming back. But let's pull up to this is the 30-minute time frame here, which is that zone right there, which is the same as that 15-minute 2 candles. So that was the first breaker. Well, low, high, lower, low. So I was expecting at least price to retrace back to this 15-minute zone right there, but it did not. So there was another one here, crossed, and we finally, so we kind of confirmed in my style of how I interpret price. This was confirmed together with this zone, but the closure of this candle, a 15-minute candle below them. So when I was like, yo, if I do get a trade, when we get some bullishness to touch that zone, and then we start coming down, I'm gonna be ready for this trade. So this 8 a.m. to 8:15 candle shoots up and touches that breaker, right? I mean that zone right there, and we start trading away. I'm like, yo, this is good. I'm now comfortable looking for a trade, even though I felt like we had really gone down, but there was still some sell side, even though we still have some zones of resistance that could easily be used as support to shoot price back up. But the thing is, there'll always be something opposing your trade. There'll always be something there to question. So when your elements line up, just take it. So going to the 1 minute, pull up my EMAs right there, and let's go look at that zone. And this was that 8 to 8:15 candle that goes up and touches that 15-minute point of interest for me there. So I'm looking for a trendline break, and that was my entry right there. So my stop loss always goes above the 100. I feel safer having it there. So even if price comes and takes me out, I feel like I did everything in my power. So at this point, at this sell side is where I was like, yo, I think it's, the concern I had is we're now getting to 9 a.m. I mean, I've already said this, where if we had it at we had a one-sided, when we get to that 9 a.m. we see some sort of reversals, and I thought that my stop loss was kind of vulnerable. So I decided, you know what, since we are back up above 1,000, I'm okay as long as I close above 1,000 profit for the week. So I did trail my stop loss here. I did trail the stop loss a little bit aggressively, and I was taken out with this candle. But looking out, this thing shot up so fast. I was so glad that I came out. But we see the price just played around here for the rest of the session, and there was potential of 1.6. FundedNext markets, they do close the session at 110. So this candle right here would have been closed out. So where's that 110? So the potential is pretty much 1.4. That 110 candle. If you have any positions running, they'll just close them out for you. Yeah, so pretty decent week. I'm happy with the results. That was a 1:2 RR line right there that I wanted to see if we're gonna get to. Looking at the 15-minute real quick, I got this level down 1 SD. It's just the first breaker right there with the high. So I anchor my Fibonacci from that high to the breaker, not this low. I do it a little bit different. I anchor it to the breaker. Doing a few back tests, I found out to be effective, and it does give me those, that 2 to 2.5. That price will just get there, and most of the time it will reverse. So if I'm holding, once we touch that box, bro, I'm out. So when we start trading the 15-minute alone, that is the plan right there. So in this case, maybe I would have missed, or maybe I would have adjusted and entered on this one, my stop loss up there, and then get to that terminus. But if it would have been perfect, we enter at that 15. Actually, the above the breaker should be, if that's the breaker, I believe, then you want your stop loss up there. So 5.7, decent win. Anyway, I've come to the end of the analysis. If at all anybody watches this and you have any questions, just in the description below, leave your question and I'll answer it. If you want, you can leave your handle and I'll just tag you, or you can email me at maweracapital@gmail.com. So I'm not gonna be able to do a backtest video. I'm out of time and I got something I have to do in the afternoon. So that's it. I'm done, and I will see you on the next one. Thank you so much for dropping in and supporting this course. Road to profitability. So the progress there is, we're now a third after 5 weeks. We're now a third way there, and I think moving forward it should be easier, hopefully. So I don't want to put a timeline, but if we can just have week 6 as the last week, meaning win, it will be nice. But no pressure, we just submit and keep going. It's been 5 weeks, we're still holding on, and I think we're doing good. We're doing just fine. 2 first weeks were now profitable, but you can see how much we lost. Just okay, losses. And then a good win on the 3rd week, and then the 4th week pretty much break even, and then the 5th week we had a very decent win with a potential of making way more than that. But capital reservation is kind of my weakness now, which is a good weakness to have in trading. Capital reservation, it's too positive that it's now affecting my gains, right? Because if I took the risk that I wanted and then just let those trades be, this would have been a little bit higher, but it's still the highest we've seen this period, this challenge. So a long way to go. Get to 3,000, get funded, and then build a buffer of 2,100. And then we can only withdraw what we make above 2,100, and we have 5 withdrawals. So 4 withdrawals of maximum 1,250, and then a last withdrawal I think of 5,700, including the 2,100 buffer. And I'm done here. Thank you so much for joining. That was Trader Mawera as usual. Let's keep going, man. We're not gonna give up. Let's keep being disciplined, and everything should line up. And I'm waiting for my music here so I can get done. And the closing scripture right there is to the only God, our Savior, through Jesus Christ, our Lord, be glory, majesty, dominion, and authority before time and now and forevermore. And we all say amen. As you can see, not able to put my my face right there. All right, there's no webcam. My phone the phone that I use just died, and I don't know, I think it was too bad. The battery was just depleted too bad. After 2 days, it's now back on today, so I didn't want to risk it. I'm gonna wait for the battery to be full, and Monday I should be able to stream everything with all the elements included. All right, Trader Mavera, and I'm out. Have a good weekend, have a good night, good morning, whatever part of the world you are. It is mid-morning here, and I'm good, and I'm Gucci, and we out. God bless you all, and peace of God be with you, and I'm out. Peace.